Hi, welcome back.
I'm Dexter.
And I'm Whitney.
And this is
Tied Together.
So you had an idea for a topic today?
Well, it occurred to me that I don't think we've ever, continuously had, the timeline of how we got together and all that stuff. I don't think we have it on Instagram. We've talked about it on, podcasts before. But all real short. Shout out to who?
Shout out to Blood's Call and also
Occupied with Brock Cook.
Two of the best podcast interviews we've ever done.
Yeah, the top two.
Those guys are so fun.
Anyways, so I thought it would be good to have it.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. My story, I guess the story begins in late 2018. I graduated from OT school in 2018 and then moved to New Mexico and came down here and then was looking at our first Christmas away from home. And I thought, you know what I would like to do for Christmas? I think I will get one of those Ancestry DNA tests and I will try to find my biological father. I had some contact with my bio mom before this. I had never met her. I never met her until I met you. I met you first, which is weird, but it was on the same trip. But anyways, I didn't know who my biological dad was. So I did the kit and I wanted the results for Christmas. You know what I mean? I wanted to, which I think makes more sense, right?
Mm-hmm, like a Christmas gift.
Yeah, I want the results as the Christmas gift. And so I got the test before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, doing the DNA kit and then getting the DNA kit for Christmas is like getting a piece of furniture, but you have to assemble it yourself. It's
right, or
this is great, but
you get a certificate.
Now I've got to do all the
for a gift in 4 to 6 weeks. But yeah. So I spit in the tube and sent the test in. And they tell you I honestly didn't even know if anything would come of it. I felt like it was going to be a good first step to try to find his family or find out who he was. And then I really didn't even think that he would want to meet me or anything like that. I wasn't really sure how open he would be to any kind of contact. And I think I just told myself anything is fine. I would just like to know who it is. Yeah. There's probably somebody who would be willing to share a little bit of information, medical information, that type of stuff.
When you start from zero, that's kind of be the, you'll take whatever you can get, kind of. Yeah,
I guess so. And it really did not occur to me that anybody would be, really open to, having a stranger come into their family. So then I got my test results back, and I opened it up, the same day they come back, and I was supposed to be heading to work. It was a Sunday that the results came in, and I work weekends sometimes because I work at the hospital. And I get the results, and I was like, "Holy crap!" I had close family matches on that side, with our aunt and our grandma had both had an Ancestry DNA test done, and I remember looking at it. And then and I was like, am I sure? Because I know some of my birth mom's family, and I looked at it again. I was like, no, they've got to be on that other side. And I was like, but it says close family to first cousin matches, and I was like, but I don't recognize his names. And then I'd come back and I was like, yeah, they're on his side. So I send out a message to both of them, and then hear back from our aunt right away, almost not immediately, but a couple hours. Mm-hmm. After sending that email, and I told her, I don't remember, but I had to go to work, and I think when I got off work or something, or before I went to work, I had a message back from her. So I think I messaged her after I got off at the hospital, and she told him that same day. She messaged him. She said she was gonna wait till the next day, and then she was like, I can't wait. I'm gonna message him tonight. And so then, and then I was like, maybe he'll contact me tonight. And then she's like, no, I'm sure he won't. I'm sure it'll be tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And I said, that's fine. And so, I think I friended him on Facebook that night. Just so he could kind of get a feel for if I was a serial killer or something or not, or if I was a...
Which jury's still out on.
What the heck?
I'm just kidding.
And then, I remember looking at his Facebook page, and his profile picture was him with a big fish, like a high quality fish. And I was like, do I really think
Tree
this
Outdoors
guy?
magazine level.
Yes, you're right. And I was like, is this him? I was like, I couldn't really see it. You know what I mean? Like, not in a bad way, but I was like, I was like, okay, this could be, like, there's not anything glaring that there's no way he could be the bio dad.
Yeah.
But I remember I was like kind of looking at the picture like this. I was like, I don't know, like I maybe, that's interesting. So, and she also told me that he had a son. He has a son.
Yeah, I know.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I know that guy. I've talked.
Do you know that guy?
I've talked to him.
And so I was like, oh, wow. Like I was like, oh my gosh, because I don't have any bio siblings at all on my birth mother's side at all.
And it wasn't even something that entered into your friend. Like you were like, you didn't even. The concept of that didn't even enter into your thinking.
No, like it didn't even occur to me that this man who had like fathered me could have a family or could have anything, or that he could have other children, or was like a real person in any way, shape, or form. But so. Anyways, that brings us to like 6 hours after. No, okay. So, I talked with him the next day, and, the conversation I thought went really well. He definitely wanted to make a good impression, and, told me about his history and, his military service and his profession. And there was some things I could identify with. There's some ways that we're pretty different too. He is very outdoorsy, and but he is a scientist. He does environmental science, and he told me he almost majored in geology in school, which I never did, but I did really enjoy rocks and that type of stuff as a kid. And I grew up in Utah, and that's a big place for rock hounding and stuff like that. What were we gonna say?
Yeah, that and dinosaurs and that kind of
right, like fossils and cool stuff, and so I identified with some of the things. And then I really wanted to ask him about his son, who, was like, I didn't know what kind of relationship they had or anything like that. And I was really kind of hoping it would come up in the conversation, but I also felt like it was going to be kind of impolite to ask that on the first call, if it didn't come up. So I was like,
kind of wanted to steer it that way,
but I didn't. No, I didn't. But at the end of the phone call, he said, you can call me or text me anytime. Like, ask me anything you want. Like, I'm an open book. You literally can ask me whatever. So I waited till like 10 or 15 minutes after I got off the phone call, and I said, I'm sorry, like, but your sister told me that you have another son. Can I ask, like, what is your relationship like with him? Or like, what is, would he be interested to meet me, And he said, oh, I'm sure that he would. And I said, okay, well, let me know when you're ready to like have that happen. Like, I want to give you some time, because it's kind of crazy having somebody just like come into your family and be yeah. And I said, I get that you probably need some time with that, but let me know, because I'm interested in contacting him. And I did say that pretty much from the get-go. So then, now what? Now where do I go? Okay, I guess we go to when you and I first talked, right? Or
like how he broke the news to me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that was a couple days later, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
This is like the week before Christmas. This is like the week of Christmas.
Yeah, it's like I think the 23rd was when we talked.
I talked to him on the 18th. And so it was like a couple days after that. Yeah. Because I traveled back home for Christmas. Okay.
So he lived out of state from me at the time. He
still does.
Yeah, he still does. And so he texted me, is like, hey man, what's up? I'm like, hey, how's it going? And we talked for a couple minutes. He's like, so I've got to tell you something, but you got to keep it on the down low. And I'm thinking like he's gonna sneak home for Christmas or something, surprise the family, because they always do this thing around November, and then everybody kind of goes their own way. But I thought he was maybe feeling extra sentimental or something, wanted to come back home for
Christmas.
Christmas or something. So I'm like, yeah, sure, shoot, whatever. And he's like, so you have you have a sister, and she's 29. She's an occupational therapist, and I honestly, like, my brain was like, he's pulling my leg, he's messing with me. And I was like, no way, no, like, what? And then I so stupid. I was like I went immediately to Facebook and was trying to like scroll through and I was like, does she have our last name? Like, obviously that's not gonna be the case, but my brain was not quite making the connection. So after that, he asked, like, is it okay if I give her your number? And I was like, yeah, why haven't you done that already? Like, yeah, absolutely. And I remember him asking me, if you look like him. And I kind of like, he sent me a picture. I was like, well, John, like, first thing I said was like, wow, we favor. Mm-hmm. And then he was like, well, what do you think we look like? I was like, well, John, she looks exactly like that's my face. And if she has my face, then that means she looks like you, because that's how that works. The
denominator.
Works. Yeah.
The common denominator.
So, but anyway, so,
I remember,
I was like, yeah, why didn't you do that already? And then, I'll let you take it from there.
Well, so I looked you up on Facebook once you gave me your name, and Dexter had this old picture of him in a like an Elvis Presley t-shirt standing in a doorway, and the look on his face and the way that he was standing it reminded me so much of myself. And that was the first time I'd ever really seen anybody, I don't know, like a total stranger, total never spoken to this gentleman before, looking so much like me. And it made the hairs on my neck stand on end. Yeah, like that. Yeah. And I was like, oh, like, this is gonna be different than I thought. This is gonna be a little bit more like profound.
More to this than what I thought.
There's gonna be more to this, and our Bao Dad already, like, he'd already done so much more than I had ever expected anybody to do. To even give me a call, let alone the day after he found out about me, shocked me. It really did. And I don't know if that sounds stupid, but I was astounded that our aunt texted me back and gave me her phone number. She gave me her personal phone number. Yeah. Like, on a thing, like, to a stranger from the internet. And then she lived to regret it. No, just kidding. But, I'm just kidding. But it really, really shocked me that and that he would just any of it. And then I saw that picture of you, and I was like, and then I think later, probably not at this moment, but later I kind of put it together. I was like, oh, like, and I thought about, like, well, what would I do if someone contacted me? And it would pretty much the same. I would be open to contact, and I would be, and so as time went on, I feel like it made more sense to me, like, why you guys would do what you would do, because it was honestly pretty similar to probably how I would react to things, and mm-hmm. I think I'm a pretty open person in that way too, and, like, you know what I'm saying, like, to meet new people, and I'm pretty friendly, and all of this stuff.
I'm just kidding.
I am friendly and nice. Yeah. I'm super nice to everybody but one person. Yeah. Super cool. I'm super cool 24/7. So yeah. So then let's see. I'm trying to think. So a lot of this we've talked about before, and I want to, like, bring new elements into it. Mm-hmm. More like our thinking and stuff. Was there any point, like, I know that, so we talked for the first time a couple days before Christmas. Is there anything that you haven't shared before about, like, what you thought about when we on that phone call, or that, you know what I mean? Like, I kind of want to try to bring new things in.
It was the 23rd of December, and I went to the movies with my cousin and my aunt.
We were texting first. What did you think when we were texting?
I honestly don't remember. That bit kind of gets swallowed up by the phone call. In my mind, because I remember you being like, "Hey, Dex, this is your long lost sister Whitney," and just being so like nonchalant about it.
I was making a joke. I was joking and trying to like break the ice.
No, you're good. I just remember like you were just like nonchalant about it. I was like, "Oh, cool." I remember thinking in the midst of that conversation, like, I was pretty straightforward with how I thought about things. My goal from like the get-go was just to make sure like you're coming into this new family. We're family right up. Like you're not. It's not like we're not gonna have to warm up to being like the minute you come on the scene. You're just like, for me that's it. We're family.
You're so good.
So
and see, I didn't know that was a thing that people would do for me. He did tell me you had cerebral palsy. I remember he told me that. That was when I asked, like,
he lied.
No, he didn't.
I'm kidding.
I said, does my brother have cerebral palsy? No. No. But when I asked, like, could you tell me a little bit about him? He did say that. And so that was like a big, like, I don't know if this is right or not, but like, I was trying to figure out exactly what that meant. In terms of like what to expect when we call.
I walk a little funny and my leg kicks out sometimes when I don't want it to.
Yeah, is that really that's the technical.
That's
cerebral palsy is a technical term for your leg sticks out sometimes when you don't want it to. Like I know what CP is, obviously, and I've worked with a lot of people with on a professional level, but because CP is so broad, I really didn't know what that meant in terms of what I was going to expect when I was going to talk to you, or what kind of life experience you had. What you would sound like,
the
or
whole
what
situation.
Or how
cognitively aware I would be. Just
all of it. Just and I was interested. Like it didn't. In some ways, it didn't matter at all because I was still interested to. I was gonna. If you were interested in getting to know me, I was gonna be making contact with you too. No problem at all, but like I just wasn't exactly sure
how to approach it.
Yeah,
you didn't know where I was at.
Yeah, and so and then I ran into this a lot with us where like I get into like a evaluation mode or like a occupational therapy mode because I got trained to do that before I was your sister, and so I'm evaluate like trying to evaluate like your level or something on the phone call, or trying to talking to you. I'm trying to like figure out what we're doing. And
I understand where you might have needed to do that. I will say that it didn't feel like that in the conversation.
Well, I don't think it should ever feel like that when you're when you're doing and like
a lot of times
clinical stuff. You should just be getting to know somebody anyway, but you're kind of figuring out ways that you would be able to help them or whatever.
I just remember with that mindset of us being family, and I immediately called you. Like I started calling you sis from like the word go. And
I remember that.
And I remember I don't know, there was just several things I would do, and I would say like in the text and stuff. I would say stuff, just kind of letting you know where I stood. And I was like, I would say it and then be like, oh, I hope this goes okay.
Right.
Oh man, I don't want to scare her away, but like I really just want to be upfront about how I see it.
Right.
And where I want you in my life, and how I see this thing working.
Right. I think that was beneficial. I feel bad that you did most of that work at the beginning. For me, it was like almost I didn't want to intrude. And I think as an adoptee, there's always kind of a sense that like you're taking up some space you're not supposed to, like you're not really supposed to be there. And that happens like on a lot of different levels. And so in a lot of different family situations, and in this situation I definitely felt like, ooh, like I'm gonna just kind of do like, I'm not going to call him brother. I'm not going to try to reach for anybody. Like, I'm going to just come
You're
in and
worried if you did that in any way, it would push them away, or
just not my place. Just not my place. Not having a place.
Not knowing where your place was, or if
Not,
you even
well,
had
I don't think it didn't even occur to me that I would have a place. Like, not being like, oh, I wonder where I sit. It's just like, oh, like, this is not mine unless somebody says, like, you know, being in somebody else's house, you know, where you're not going to touch anything. You're not going to, that was how I felt about it. It's not like, oh, I wonder where my bedroom is in this house, or if I'm going to sleep on the couch or what. It's just like, oh, this isn't my house. I'm going to make sure I'm going to do my best to, like, not really touch anything. And not have any evidence that I was there. Yeah. And so, so I really benefited from that. I think the most I was willing to do, like the most that I felt okay about doing, because you set that groundwork. I remember I told you I loved you on that first phone call. Which I was very nervous about doing. But I felt it. And so I always feel like if you feel it, you should say it. And that was, I think I might have even said that. I was like, well, I don't know, this is weird, but I'm just going to tell you I love you on this for, you know.
Yeah, I think that's exactly how you laid that out.
You know, because if you feel it, I think you should say it.
Yeah.
And you told me you love me back. I remember that.
Yeah, I was a little surprised by it. Because from my standpoint, that, like, kind of slow to roll out mentality, and then ended up there. I was like, oh, okay. I remember because there was a moment of like, oh, okay, I love you too. Like, and it wasn't that, like,
and there was a catch. Yeah, I was like, for me, I was like, oh my gosh.
I wasn't expecting it, because, like, not that, I mean, I don't think you were withdrawn, but I think there was a level of like you were talking about, where you're not really sure.
Yes, and I was kind of be like.
So we went from that to, like, I love you, and I'm like, okay, I wasn't expecting that, but cool, I love you too, is how I was trying to come, but like.
So I was trying to meet you, yeah, I was trying to, I could, you know, I could see that you had done, you know, you didn't have to call me sis, you didn't have to do these things, and you were doing that stuff, and I wanted to let you, you know, I never tried to withhold. I'm never trying to be withholding. Yeah, you know what I mean?
It's hard to figure out what's allowed or permitted.
What's allowed, yeah. And that's all, like, and that's in every, I feel like every family system I'm a part of is always like, what is allowed? And the answers are different between, like, you know, this family, our, you know, by our dad's family, and then, like, with my birth mother, those rules are different. With my adopted family, those rules are different.
Yeah.
And with my in-laws, you know, those rules are different. And I'm a different person in kind of each family system I've ever come into.
Mold in some way.
Maybe.
And it does that.
Maybe, yeah. And I think that's true. I think you do have a place, like, you kind of form a place in each family. Sorry. It's okay. So, but yeah, each family has things that are allowed and are not allowed. And it's interesting to have the experience. Finding you guys is not exactly like marrying into something, but it's similar. You know, like, it's coming into something new like that, and each dynamic is so different in different family systems. And I've found that to be. I'm gonna write a PhD. It's me, Whitney. PhD, doctor of stuff, doctor of family systems,
Dr. Whitney medicine,
like the dissertation, like, I'm just writing dissertation, the T on these family, like, just like, but how different these different dynamics can be, and then how me as a person would be different in each situation.
I think it offers us, I don't want to get too far off topic, I think it offers us a unique opportunity in the fact that most of the dynamics in these situations are formed before we even realize what's happening.
Yeah, as a child, you're in a family.
As a child, and I would say even, I mean, I've never been married, but I would assume in marriage is that way. Like, you're finding these dynamics as you go, so you're not really like, you don't come in being like, this is how I want this to go.
Yeah, that's true.
You're just like, I need to find how I can work in this system. Whereas, like, I think, I don't know if
I would say here I felt more like a child. Because I am a child. It's weird. Like I am a child coming into a family. I'm not, get off of me. So stay over there. You're a dork. If I'm a baby, you're stupid.
Listen, don't make me put you in timeout again.
Get away from me.
Listen,
all right, this is my car and I'm driving away.
I'm in the passenger seat.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I thought it was gonna beep, but it actually didn't care that your seatbelt wasn't on.
Happy that I'm here.
Yeah. Anyways, okay. So, but I felt more like a child coming into this family, and because there was more of like these like child feelings of like wanting to please and being accepted and wanting to be loved, like and you want to be loved by, it's just different, you know what I mean, like in the way that people are seeing you is different, and the way that people talk about you is different. Like there's a lot of parts of our relationship that have a lot of child type qualities, and it's because we never got them as a kid. So there's a lot of like ways that we will interact or that we will treat, you know, because we just didn't get to do it. And I feel like that's true of all the relationships that I've had there on that side of the family in some ways, where we kind of go through older or earlier like iterations of whatever the relationship it is, whether it's like
building the foundation,
aunt or grandma or whatever.
Backwards.
And you go through them all as an adult.
So for you, it was like being like a child
coming in, for sure. And it's funny though, because I didn't act that way. I was like, haha, it's me, Whitney. Cool master's degree lady.
I don't need anything.
I'm cool. Yeah, I'm just grown, and I'm I'm not really looking for another family, and you know, I have my shit together. Or sorry, but like, you know, I'm just a thing. I'm a grown-up adult lady, and I don't need anything from y'all.
Yeah, I think my perspective was different because it's not a 1-for-1, but I was in your spot. I met our bio dad when I was 9, and I didn't have a blueprint, but I remember I've had a lot of years to think about like, what did I need coming in? What did I want? What like, even as a young kid, like what was I looking for? And that was kind of why I approached things with you the way I did. I wanted you to not only be a part of this family, but to have a good open door. And to know that's like, when you're figuring these things out, you have somebody in your corner that's like on your side and gonna help you,
right?
And that you're allowed to do that. That was always my goal, and all. So like, I was very intentional from the get-go about what I wanted this to look like and to be, or the role I wanted to play. I guess I knew that bit.
You really did.
So
I feel like that's so rare. I've never heard of anybody coming into reunion with their biological family and having somebody willing to do that. And that may or may not be true, but I've never heard of anybody being like, I've got to take care of her. I've got to make sure that she gets the things that I didn't get. I gotta, you know, I've been put in a unique spot to move the situation through, and it really means a lot.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is a good place to stop.
Yeah, I think it is.
30 minutes is a good amount of minutes.
I think so.
28 to 29 minutes by the time I hit stop will be good.
Yeah. Very technical. It's just been a wild ride.
For sure. So this has been a successful episode. Thank you.
Look for more.
Bye.
Bye, guys.